The last movie I reviewed just depressed me. The ending to The Mist it's lowered my spirits a little bit. So I thought, let's check out a movie that's one of my childhood favorites, Mouse Hunt. Now, what can I say about this movie? It's hilarious, and I think it's highly underrated. This was the kind of movie I watched when I was home from school, faking sick, or actually being sick. I would put this one on, or Lord of the Rings. I would watch this movie on repeat. And I have to say, it's still one of my all-time favorites. So, let's check it out. The movie's beginning is quite sad, but don't worry, the rest of the movie is bloody hilarious. These two brothers are having a funeral for their dead father, and because they're brothers, all they can do is argue, and this arguing causes them to drop the casket with the body in it, which then goes racing down the stairs and crashes into a car where the body is then launched out, does a 360 no-scope and lands in a manhole, head first. Then the credits start to roll, and it's revealed here that this is not a sequel to Death at a Funeral, but it is instead its own movie called Mouse Hunt. There's all this string around, that's kind of cool, isn't it? The movie then turns into an educational documentary. Here we get to see how string is made, and it's boring. But then it turns into a comedy, because this shit happens. Thanks to this jackass who is now so fired, because he was moving too damn slow, a ball of string manages to escape his grasp and just rolls away, and then it causes some kind of domino effect where it lands in a bit of machinery, which then gets jammed up. I guess you can say the workers now have their hands all tied up. Before anything bad could happen to the factory, the two sons we saw earlier are claiming their father's inheritance because he died. Oh wait, there it is, there's the factory going down to shit. But anyway, this doesn't stop them. They get to claim some great treasures. An egg, Cuban cigars, and the old man's collection of spoons, which for some reason has this guy all excited. I mean, maybe he just really likes spoons. And there's something else that he mentioned that they're also gonna get, but it's probably best you hear it from the man himself, because it's quite interesting.
Also a house.
A house?
Yes, 5120 Nortondale. The father acquired it many years ago as payment of a debt. He never lived there, but it's interesting. It seems the previous owner was found locked in a trunk in the attic.
Wait a minute. Is it worth anything?
Wait. A house that's possibly haunted by the previous owner because he died there? Sign me up, I'm moving in right now. The two brothers argue a little bit, and then one of them gets so frustrated he throws the egg at the innocent old man, which then breaks on the floor. And then the other brothers are all like,
You'll have to excuse me. I've got a date with the mayor.
and it must have been some date because the mayor, he dies because he ate a cockroach. Now the two brothers are broke and are forced to try and sell the string factory, but just before they make their decision, one of them has a flashback. The flashback takes us back to when the two brothers are in hospital to visit their father, who looks like he's had too many straight up lemons. The more responsible brother then declines the offer from these two guys in suits about selling the string factory. And this pisses off a girlfriend who I didn't even know the brother had because he's got no money. It's like women only go for men because they get paid. And that's just really sad. Now the two brothers are homeless, so they decide to check out this house that was given to them by their father, and it's spooky.
It's huge.
This is just the kind of house I'd expect him to have. It's just like him, cold and spooky. What?
I got a chill. You shouldn't talk about Pop like that.
Really? What's this do for you?
Thanks for nothing, you spring-sucking old moon!
Yeah, sure, the house might need some dusting and some refurbishing, but at least it's right on top of a Pokemon Go gym. I can do the X-raids, raids, battles, without even having to leave my own home. How cool is that? Things get worse when they find the bedroom, and here they see that there is only one bed. So what do the two brothers do? They flip a coin to see who gets the bed, and this is kind of funny. The coin stands up straight, so they share it. One of the brothers, and I'll start calling them by their names now, the younger guy is Lars, the other guy's Ernie. So Lars hears noises, so they both go upstairs to go and investigate. I mean, it's probably a rat or something. I mean, just look at the place. There'll be lots of rats around. We get some real good laughs in this scene. Ernie finds a box and it says on it mothballs. So what does he do? He opens it up and all these moths come flying out. I mean, I thought mothballs meant to keep moths away. My reaction exactly. Then the movie jumps straight from a G rating to an R-rated horror movie. Holy shit, that's fucking terrifying.
Look, look, look. It's only a toy.
I remember this scene scaring me so much when I was a little kid. I had to hide behind a blanket or just close my eyes. This was like my first insight into Hellraiser. Just bloody terrifying. Ernie then goes through the roof. Literally, he sticks his head through the roof and spots a mouse. Now they know what was making that noise. It was a little mouse. So I was wrong. It wasn't a rat, it was a mouse. There's a difference. On his way down, Ernie grabs hold of some scrolls and it turns out they're blueprints, and it reveals that the house might actually be worth something because it's made by some guy named Charles.
Here, look. Charles LaRue.
This Charles guy, whoever he is, must be really important because this guy lost his virginity just by saying his name.
Charles Lyle LaRue. Charles Lyle LaRue.
Ernie finds out the house is worth some money.
Did you hear that? $600,000.
Then some big guy in a suit shows up and he's some kind of fangirl of this guy named Charles, so he has massive interest in buying the house. Ernie, knowing how desperate the guy is to buy the house, tries to raise the stakes. He says there's going to be an auction in a bit of an attempt to try and raise the price for the house. Ernie reckons maybe they can get $700,000-$800,000 out of it, but then we find out the guy has a bigger purse than he lets on.
But know this, I have never paid more than $10 million for a house in my life.
Okay, see you then.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by.
Possibly $10 million for the house? Do you take cash? After hearing they could be making millions out of this house, the brothers start to get along quite well. But don't forget, the movie is called Mouse Hunt for a reason. The little mouse then takes an olive, so what does Ernie do to get it back? He pulls out a double barrel shotgun. No, that comes a bit later. But he instead puts a single mouse trap down with an olive as the bait. And by the sounds of it, it worked. I remember when I was little, my dad would put these mouse traps down because we had some rats in the house, but I remember distinctly getting the absolute shit scared out of me when the traps would go off at like 3 in the morning. It got worse when you wake up the next morning and there's no rat to be seen and the bait is gone. It's a phantom mouse. The next morning, and the two brothers are trying to have the most important meal of the day, breakfast, but the little mouse got there first. And this is hilarious. The two brothers start going absolutely berserk over it and they start hitting each other instead of the mouse. And poor Ernie gets a hammer to the hand. They then decide to put yet another mouse trap down, this time using a bit of cheese. But as they're doing this, the mouse gets hold of the big round cheese that they cut this little bit from. How cute is that? Some time passes as the mouse has finished the entire cheese. So what does he do? He runs on home and goes to bed. And this is bloody adorable. Just look at him there, lying there, all comfy in his cute little tin, looking at all the stuff he's collected. It's just so adorable, especially when you see him slowly drifting off to sleep. Oh, makes your heart just want to melt. Mine just did. Little Mousy runs for his life and it almost ends badly for him, thanks to this asshole. And it looks like the little mouse is gonna meet its end. But thankfully, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but Ernie shows up and saves the day. Now the mouse gets to live to see another day. And I thought the whole point maybe was to kill the damn thing, but here I am feeling sorry for it. It turns out Ernie, God bless his soul, spent most of their money on some kind of jacuzzi tub, which had this cardboard lady included. But you know what they say, you just can't have nice things. You see, the two brothers are trying to carry it up the stairs, but then the mouse makes its presence known and scares the two brothers, causing them to freak out and go down the stairs in the tub. And out the door they go as they go for a really nice ride down the backyard or front yard, whatever. And then luckily for them, it stops on the frozen lake. For a second I thought they'll lose a really cool tub. And it sunk. That sucks. Now the brothers are real pissed and decide to set like hundreds, and I mean hundreds of mouse traps. Imagine how much that would have cost. But don't forget, these two guys are idiots and they forget to unlock the door, or maybe it's just stuck. So now they're trapped in the corner of the room, unable to cross the mouse traps, landmines, or what do you want to call this mess? Just look at it, it's an absolute mess, but at least it's not Legos. The next morning, it's revealed that the two brothers slept in this position all night long, but looks like their wait has finally paid off as the mouse comes out to grab some food from the mouse traps. But this mouse ain't no mouse, it's too smart, so he bypasses all of them and does some cool parkour, and this even impresses the two guys. The little mouse then makes its way to the cherries, which he or she then uses as a way to set off all the mouse traps. And for whatever dumb reason, the two brothers decide to go rolling into the mouse traps, getting attacked by them. Ernie, who is now pissed off and in pain, decides to pull out a double barrel shotgun. That's still a bit later. Instead, he pulls out a vacuum cleaner and shoves it right up the mouse's hole, as in the hole in the wall that he lives in. But what Ernie doesn't realize is that he accidentally managed to get the vacuum cleaner to attach to the pipe that all the poop comes in. So now the vacuum cleaner is sucking up all the shit and it blows up. Now that's just some shit luck. What can I say? I'm just full of shitty jokes. Then some guy in a suit shows up and puts some kind of notice on the door, and for once, I guess we can say our two main characters look exactly as they are in shit. The guy in the suit tells the two brothers that they have 2 days to pay $1,200 to pay for the house, otherwise the Illuminati gets to claim it back. And of course the two brothers are completely shocked, and yeah, this is why they're in shit. So now they are freaking out about the mouse, so they decide to go and buy a pet cat who will hopefully kill the mouse for them. How does that work out for them? Well, the mouse kills the cat. While the cat is, well, dying, Lars tries to tell his employees at the string factory what kind of situation they're in and how they might have to work for free. And this, of course, doesn't go down too well with the employees. After discovering the cat is dead, the two brothers call a giant cockroach. Oh no, it's this guy from like every other movie like ever, but poor Christopher Walken gets beaten by the mouse. He is completely torn up. And there's some random crap going on between Ernie and Lance. I mean, they're all going through their own demons at the moment, but I want to look at Christopher Walken getting beaten up. That looks painful. So now Ernie's in the hospital and Lance is dressed as a fairy. This has something to do with his girlfriend deciding to pay the $1,200 for the house. So Ernie was in hospital because he got hit by a minivan earlier. But that's okay because he's in and out of hospital quicker than you know it. So on the way home, the two brothers are feeling quite happy that the $1,200 has been paid off by Lance's girlfriend. But they arrive back home to see Christopher Walken, who's now crazy and goes off to Arkham Asylum.
What's that? Horse? Finish! I won't eat it!
The two brothers then go back inside the house only to discover that Christopher Walken wasn't even bothered to clean up after himself. The two brothers then come to the realization that this is no ordinary mouse, and the point just gets proven more when they discover this sandwich possibly made by the mouse. It turns out the mouse did make the sandwich as it's trying to carry it away, so Ernie grabs a frying pan and goes in for the kill and fucks it up. Ernie then chases the mouse up the chimney where he then gets stuck, and this is just one big trap. Mousy then sets the gas off and gives Lance a match, where, just watch.
Smells like gas.
Ernie then goes through some more punishment as he gets an entire shelf dropped on him and ouch. Ernie then comes back into the house after a nice swim in the lake and the two brothers are completely speechless. This scene's hilarious. And now finally Ernie pulls out the double barrel shotgun and he's ready to just blow that little mouse into smithereens. And how do you think that will go? Stupid Ernie points the gun at the flea bomb that Christopher Walken had earlier and shoots it. Unknowingly, of course, and this puts a bloody hole in the floor. The two brothers then start to have some kind of argument because now they've realized they're both complete failures. But some good does come out of it. Ernie picks up some kind of fruit and intends to hit Ernie with it, but instead he hits the poor little mouse who was just standing in the background. Now they think it's dead. Oh no, it's still breathing, so that's okay. Now they have the chance of a lifetime to finally put an end to it, but they just can't bring themselves to kill the little innocent little thing. So what they do instead is they just put it in some kind of box, which they then deliver to the post office. Yay, I mean, if you can't solve the problem yourself, just pass it on to someone else. Thanks to Lance's girlfriend, they pay the $1,200 so they can keep the house, and maybe a bit more so they can just kind of rebuild it a little bit. Because where else would they have gotten the money to do this? So while the two brothers are doing some house maintenance, the post people pick up the box with the mouse in it, and just like that Elvis song, for whatever reason they return it to sender. Back at the house, things are going quite well as Ernie and Lance have finally begun the auction. Just look at all these people who want to buy the house. How spectacular is that? They can get a lot of money out of this. I just hope nothing goes wrong. In a very touching scene, Lance hands over to Ernie the piece of string that was given to him by his father back in hospital. You see, this is the piece of string that inspired their father to start the string factory, so it's quite important to them. And now it's in Ernie's possession. The fangirl from earlier makes an offer to Ernie of $10 million for the house on the condition that they call off the auction. But of course, Ernie declines because he thinks they can get some more money than that from the auction. Lance goes outside to take out the trash, only to discover that the box that they had the mouse in has returned. That is some fast delivery. Damn, screw you, Express Post. Okay, so things are looking quite bad right now, but hopefully Lance can warn Ernie before it's too late. What the fuck? Okay, so Ernie's trying to give some kind of speech before they begin the auction, and there's Lance in the background trying to play charades. It's not going down too well, but before you know it, the mouse makes its presence known in front of Ernie. The little mouse eats the piece of string, oh, that precious little piece of string. Ernie picks up the little hammer and starts hammering away in front of everyone, and he just looks like a complete idiot. Ernie then gets booed off the stage so they can finally begin the bloody auction. So now the two brothers are off on yet another mouse hunt. So the great master plan this time is to get a hose and just shove it inside the house. It's a good plan and all. I mean, I guess we can just flush the mouse out. But of course, they find a way to just screw it all up. Ernie puts the hose on full blast, but the tap comes off, so they have no way of turning it off. Now the house is at risk of flooding, but at least the auction's still going on. I mean, the numbers are going up pretty damn high. I mean, I'm hearing numbers I've never even heard of.
20 million.
20 million. Thank you, Mr. Falco.
22 million, that's my last offer. 25 million.
Did he just say 25 millions? After he offered 10 before? What an asshole. So the final bid is $25 million, but right before they could close the deal, the wall comes tumbling down, flooding the entire auction. So I kind of think this goes without saying, but there is no sale as the house comes tumbling down. And they were so close to getting $25 million for a house with a little mouse in it. All the guests then leave, leaving Ernie and Lance all alone. We have nothing better to do. The two brothers then go through all the rubble and find the string that the mouse ate. Somehow it came out, all clean. Now with nowhere to go, the two brothers are forced to go back to the string factory to spend the night. While the two brothers are asleep, the factory goes back into operation, making some string. But who's running the place? I have no idea. The brothers then wake up to hearing all the commotion and they go on out to investigate and discover that all the string-like stuff is being made. Ernie then decides to eat a piece and discovers that it's actually cheese, and how the little mouse was the one that made this. Now the two brothers have decided to change their string factory into a cheese factory. What a money seller. And guess what? The head chef is the mouse. And the movie ends with Ernie talking to the CGI looking mouse about future plans of cheese. And it's just a happy ending after all. I guess you can say love was there all along. And that, my friends, is Mouse Hunt, my favourite childhood movie. Now, there's no sequel, which is good. This is its own thing, and there is no talks of a remake, which is even better. You see, sometimes movies just don't need to be remade or need sequels. I just want this to be its own thing, and I'm glad that it still is. It's just a shame that not many people know about it and how it isn't acclaimed as well as it should be. Sure, there are some weird things in it and how it can be scary at sometimes, but still, to me, that's why it's just so great. I love it. So now I've watched a little happy movie, let's go on to some more horror movies. I don't know which one I'll do next, but more scary stuff coming your way soon.